And here's a little bit of history about the theory. Conservation tasks developed from Piaget. Piaget is also well known for his theory about cognitive development, which believes that one's childhood plays a vital and active role in a person's development. This theory is known as the developmental stage theory. Piaget identified a weakness in children's cognitive development, and he did this by testing his conservation task theory. Conservation is the understanding that an object retains certain properties no matter how its form changes. This lack of conservation usually appears in children, and it usually appears after a period of time.
There are many factors that affect conservation tasks. These factors include classification and reversibility. Classification is the ability to group objects with some similarities within a larger category. Kids can usually differentiate between two groups, but most lack the understanding that subclasses can be part of a larger class. Reversibility is a cognitive act which a child recognizes that they can use stages of reasoning to solve a problem and then trace the steps back to the original question. Most children cannot perceive the reversibility of the transformation while doing the conservation tasks. The pre-operational child is irreversible. They're able to rationalize their thinking and actions, but the experimenter can see contradiction in the child's logic. These are a couple of examples of conservation tasks. This is where we conducted an experiment on a little boy named Brandon who is 6 years old. We conducted the experiment by using one of the examples of the conservation tasks above. Then you will see a little girl named Emma, who is 4 years old, try another version of the conservation tasks. We presented the initial presentation, manipulated the presentation, and then recorded the child's answer. So here we go.
Do you see the cups?
Yes,
Okay, which cup has more water in it? Or do they have the same amount?
they are the same.
Okay, if I go like this, and you look at the cups now, do the cups have the same amount of water, or does one have more than the other?
One has more than the other.
Which one has more than the other?
This one.
Which one?
This one.
Okay. Are the lengths of the noodles the same length, Emma? Okay. If I make them go like this, is one of them longer than the other?
This one.
That one's longer? Okay, thank you.
We tested Brandon's cognitive development and the maturity of his thought process to see if he understood the theory of reversibility. We did this by pouring the same amount of liquid into two identical glasses. Then we poured the contents of one glass into a shorter one. Brandon then said that one glass had more liquid than the other. If a child can explain why the two glasses still contain the same amount of liquid, the child has acquired an understanding of the concept of reversibility. Emma was tested with another conservation task. Emma tested the conservation task of length. The two spaghetti noodles were lined up by one another, and she agreed that they were the same size. After moving one to the side, she believed that they were no longer the same size and one was bigger. It's evident that children have a highly developed sensitivity to fairness and justice, not so much to the idea that certain physical properties remain the same no matter the dimensions of the space they occupy. That, in a nutshell, is the definition of conservation.
Altogether, there are 7 main conservation tasks: number, length, liquid, mass, area, weight, and volume. The tasks are purposely listed in this order because this is generally the order in which children come to understand these concepts. They will master number conservation first and volume last. These experiments exhibit a powerful truth to witness and can offer rare insights into a child's mind and the pace at which it develops.
Piaget's theory has been tested, retested, challenged, and refuted many times. Now, training studies have shown that children have more cognitive competence than Piaget originally believed. It is now believed that children can be taught conservation. However, other theories complement Piaget and add in more information that identifies the weaknesses in understanding children's cognitive development.